So what I've noticed on this is, look, if you look here, I think it's got a little dot on when I put my finger. It says Marsden, not Marsden. It says Marsden, chat. Marsden. It's not an F, is it? Marsden. I think that looks like Marsden. Well, it is marshy there, isn't it? Could be. But it's still the word Mar in front of it. Now it says Almondbury there. Almondbury. Now this is only 1610, so I think we get Almsbury to give alms from early on. I think that's from Domesday, isn't it? So this is not very zoomed in and detailed, to be honest. It's got Emily on it. A lot of these estates I don't really relate to be honest. There's various estates. Now, Burton's, churches and parishes, it's very religious Christian at this point. Protestant and Catholic divided, isn't it? But so you got the kirks are the parishes. So the parish of Burton, Kirk Burton, the parish of Heaton, Kirk Heaton, Murfield. French for sea is mer, like merman. Murfield actually used to be underwater way back. Now this is where it gets interesting, because on my petition that I'm doing, and I'm actually researching some of the Robin Hood history and tales and stuff, right? He's not drawn anything out of the ordinary or significant, right, for Castle Hill, really. He's put Huddersfield. He's not put Huddersfield, he's put Huddersfield. I'm not quite too sure how they list it in the Domesday book. Agrily. Don't know what he's put that for. Blaketon Edge, Agrily. So, if you look where Castle Hill sort of should be, he's done 3 humps. If you go straight down from Huddersfield, right, just to the left of well, actually, he's got Almondbury there. Quite a bit. He's got Almondbury quite a bit further over from Huddersfield, actually. And Kirk Heaton, that's quite a bit far over than I'd draw it, really. He has got some sort of like a bit of a hump drawn under Almondbury, right? But I wouldn't say that it's significantly drawn. Interest. Now, what I find the most interesting of all is that if you look at Hartshead, right, it's definitely Hartshead, right? What's the most interesting thing about this map is this. Where it says Murfield, right, then you've got Hartshead. Now, there's meant to be that Armitage estate there. He hasn't got a ring around it for one of these estates, for Armitage estate. And he doesn't even have a ring around it for the Beaumont estate, nor for, obviously later on, the family for the estate for the Beaumonts or for Ramsden's. But the 1600 now is a time when we're talking about, Civil War. It's actually before the Bill of Rights as well. Now, what I think's interesting is, where's Brighouse? You got Rastrick. Rastrick's there, but where's the Brighouse? Now, the thing is, right, this is really interesting. It says Hartshead. Now, that's where Robin Hood's grave is. Now, this is 1610, right? So, Robin Hood's meant to be 1100s, 1200s, whatever, after 1066. He's got a massive mound there at Hartshead. a huge mound at Hartshead, right? But what mound is there at Hartshead? There is no well-known mound at Hartshead unless you know one. No Robin Hood's grave's there, right? But where's the Brighouse? Where's Brighouse? Where is Brighouse, the word or the name? He's not on there. But there's a massive mound. Now, on my website, on my petition, I've been saying Castle Hill, right? Following 1066, Castle Hill was fortified into the shape of a bow at the front, the bow of a ship. A bow, right? And if you fire that bow straight forward, it goes straight to the mound at Waterloo, the big mound. If you were going to fire anything from anything that was reminiscent or closely resemble or sound like a bow, the bow of a ship, in the shape of a bow, it's the front of Castle Hill. And fire straight out from that, it goes straight to the mound. Except for the fact that when he did the earthworks, he didn't do it straight in line with Castle Hill's alignment, which is symmetrical, which goes straight up to Freemason's Arms. It's turned to the left-hand side, which is turned towards Brighouse. And what happens if you fire that way? It goes towards Robin Hood's grave. And there's a whole myth and legend about him firing his arrow and where it lands. He's going to be buried what they used to bury people in, burial mounds in the ancient times, in the Anglo-Saxon and Celtic times. And what he's drawn here is a massive burial mound. Now, that's said. But Robin Hood's grave is just a little stone with a wall around it. Which I think that huge, massive mound that he's drawn there should be reminiscent of straightforward from Castle Hill. Now, Huddersfield is done a little bit further to the left, a bit nearer Ellen than I'd have drawn it. He's quite far from Almondbury. But he has drawn some at Almondbury. He's drawn, but it's more like a round-shaped mound. Now, the mound that is drawn at Almondbury should really be Castle Hill. But Castle Hill's more elongated, and he's drawn the one at Hartshead more elongated. And the mound that is a little bit more of a round shape, which is at Waterloo, he hasn't drawn it there, because it should be where it says Kirkheaton. So that's interesting for 1610, if this is Speed's map. Why isn't it written Brighouse? It's got Rastrick, Hartshead, Huddersfield. Even Lockwood's on there. Halifax. I think even Eggbridge and where's Barnsley? Even Barnsley. Oh, Barnsley and Wakefield are meant to be on here. Otley's even on there. Let's done that straight up. Wharfdale. So that's interesting. And in fact, does anyone know anything that stands out in Brighouse that prominent? I thought I was looking for some sort of mound on here, and there it is, but he's done it at Hartshead. But that's where Robin Hood's grave is. Whereas, don't you think that Castle Hill is a significant standout thing at Almondbury? But he's done like a more of a, it's more of a rock effigy. Now the thing is, at the time Speed is doing this map, if this is a 1610 one, we're looking at, it's kind of nearer the Civil War-ish era, isn't it? I'm not saying that it's at the Civil War or not. I'm saying it's more, it's pre-1066. It's pre-1688 Bill of Rights. Before the Bill of Rights. So this is, he's talking about, witch hunting, witch finder general, and a bit of Civil War type kind of either coming out of or going into. I have read the old book of it, but it was a while ago. So, and I'm just looking at my phone now. I ain't got the whole thing out with the dates. So what you've got is, you've got some quite serious political affiliations dividing people at this time when Speed's doing this map, because you've got the Royalists and you've got the Roundheads. So they might have either... I've got to look up to see which affiliation Speed's with, because obviously he either would leave it out and not want to include it, or he's putting it in the wrong place. But he's definitely, without question, only an idiot would say that he's not he's put something on that art said to, there's something going on with Robin Hood's grave there. And I think that De Lacy, something went on with that legend. We've got a Sheriff of Nottingham. It's all about this Sheriff of Nottingham, but yeah, on the grave it says Earl of Huntingdon, But when does Huntingdon come into the thing? But the legend is to do with a bow and arrow. Actually, I've been looking at the Book of Kells, and to be honest, I've been sort of looking into some of the pictures on there, and I've realised that he's drawing a bow on it. On one of it, I've just realised he's actually. I've been mega tripping out on it, big style, and I'm like, whoa! I was like, he's riding a car, and then he's like drawing a bow, and then he's like on a long barrow, which is not unlike Castle Hill, and then he's like at one part of the reaching out, he's like giving arms, and then he's reaching out across, bridging a gap, obviously maybe between either Ireland and England, or in Oswestry and Castle Hill. Now the thing is, I've got my first proper link with Old Oswestry, which is the first real link I found with Old Oswestry, because I was looking for something to do with Old Oswestry Fort. Now, that mound at Waterloo is the exact same point. He's got a corner shaped the same as Old Oswestry, aligned up with it. Exactly, right? Now, they're saying that in the Arthurian legends, which is Anglo-Saxon times, there was some connection to Guinevere or something at Oswestry. Now, what the only thing, the connection I've got between Castle and Oswestry, other than that mound being aligned with Oswestry Old Hill Fort and it being an hill fort shape, approximately the same size, is this, which is there's one of the guys, his name was from a village in Wales. His second name was of the village from his family name is from the village over in a Welsh village just east. Sorry, it's just west, even just west of Old Oswestry Hill Fort. So if that family is married and he's got his surname or one of his names is given from there, he could have ancestors from over at Oswestry, which can be, to do with ancestry acknowledging, Guinevere. But we don't know what was a full name. Have we got a full name? Does anyone know what a full name is? That's the very first connection I've got with that Guinevere, with Old Oswestry. Or at least Old Oswestry is that name. And you see, you've got Heretic. One of his names was Heretic as well. And then we've got Speed did the map, but another name of one of the other guys to do with our area is Gallop. And what do you do with Gallop is you travel at great speed. And you cover great distance, which is like travelling. So, you got all these things that I'm learning and finding out from if you read into it and don't be like disregardive. You can't, if you want to find out and learn things, you can't say, no, it doesn't mean that, no, it doesn't mean that, no, it doesn't mean that. Because then you're saying it doesn't mean anything. You got to say, wow, there's, if it starts to sound like things that, have a meaning and significance matching up to things, then you're making connections, And look at how he's drawn this map. It's almost like a brain, all these little cracks everywhere. Like the surface of the brain's got all this. It's almost like he's done like the map. It's like, They're not even that accurate, to be honest, these river systems. He ain't got, like, the Pennine Ridge properly, and he hadn't even got, like, West Nab or anything like that. Marsden looks like Marsden to me. And Slough is Slayworth. Is that slight Slayworth? Saddleworth, Slayworth. But that's what I've got from this anyway. If you don't get that, then there's Bradforth. Shipley's even on there. Somewhere called Hallow. That's extremely prominent. Why has he drawn that? Art said they must have known a lot about Robin Hood in 1610. Although it's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 500 years still, isn't it? It's quite a while. Like 11, 12, 13, 14, 400 or 500 years.